Good morning. So can you all see me and hear me okay? If you can, just give me a wave so I can see you. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to start seated. Let's cross the right shin in front of the left shin. And try to make a triangle with your legs so that your feet are directly underneath your knees. Place your hands on top of your knees and close your eyes. And just take a moment to get grounded. Last week I was talking a lot about all of the opportunities that this time has afforded us, but as we go through these weeks, I think there are many different waves of emotions that we go through. And all of these emotions live in our body somewhere, so it's not until we get onto our mat and we get still and we become present that we're able to kind of just slow down, take a step back into that witness, and really observe the totality of what our experience has been over these last few weeks, days, months. And to really feel into the body and to let this hour that we're together be an opportunity for our body to let us know certain things, to let us feel, and to let us release. So as you feel the ground underneath you, come into almost a super awareness of your two sitting bones. And as you really feel into those two bones, imagine you could press them all the way down to the center of the earth. And as you press them down towards the center of the earth, feel that natural rebound that helps you to sit up just a little bit taller. Imagine that you could lift your sternum from the inside out, let your shoulders relax back and down. Let all four sides of your neck elongate as if the tips of your ears were being pulled up towards the ceiling. And it's from this much attention, this much awareness in your physical body, that you want to embark on this practice, that you want to make the inquiries. How am I feeling? Using this opportunity to really just allow ourselves the opportunity to feel whatever it is that comes up. Start to focus on the quality of your breath, bringing the breath all the way down into your belly. Exhaling, breathing out as if you could press your sitting bones down into the earth. Bringing that breath all the way down into your belly. And imagining that you could exhale out through those sitting bones and press them down even further towards the center of the earth. And then maintaining this alertness in your spine. Bring your palms together in front of your heart and just take a moment to connect to that inner teacher, that inner wisdom that flows within you. Take a moment to really kind of dust off our ability to listen from within. And then let's just chant Om one time. So take a deep breath in. Om. Slowly allow your eyes to open and extend your arms out to the side as if you could touch the sides of the room. Bring your left hand down, stretch your right arm over your ear. Imagine that your right sitting bone was nice and heavy, so it's weighing down towards the floor. And start to curl the pinky side of your hand down towards the floor. So if you glance up, you're looking at your palm. And then imagine you could reach, someone was pulling your wrist on the diagonal. So you're just feeling that entire right side of your body elongate. You breathe into the stretch. You feel your breath opening things up from the inside out. Good, and then inhale back so that your arms are extended again. And as you exhale, side bend in the opposite direction. So really find that spaciousness. Weigh your left sitting bone down, reach through your left hand, and spin the pinky side of your hand down, turn your palm to face the wall behind you. And then just explore with your breath. Good, and then inhale your arms back so that they're wide. And as you exhale, side bend. Inhale, bring it back up so that your arms are wide. And as you exhale, side bend. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, come on up. And exhale, side bend. Good, and then take your arms all the way up to the sky. Imagine that you could lift your ribcage up out of your pelvis, but soften your shoulders. So as much as you're elongating, you're maintaining a continence of calm. Take one more big inhale where you rise a little taller. And as you exhale, bring your fingertips down and slowly walk your fingertips forward. And send your breath into the back of your body. Send your breath into your back ribs, into your lower back, into your hips. And as you embrace the quality of softening here, just keep checking in with yourself. Let this entire practice be a journey of checking in with yourself. How am I doing now in this moment? Good, so walk your hands back in. Take your hands behind you with your fingers facing the back wall. Step your feet out in front of you. And as you inhale, you're going to lift your hips up off of the floor. Take your right arm up and over your ear. And as you exhale, bring your hips back down. And then the second side. Inhale, lift your hips, reach your left arm over your ear. Exhale, slowly lower it down. And let's do that 2 more times on each side, just following your breath. And just notice what it does to your mind to move to the tempo of your breath. So we'll do one more each side. Good. And now come to sit with your left shin crossed in front of your right shin. Observe that you have that triangular shape formed by your legs. Good. And you're going to inhale your arms up to the sky. Remember when we were thinking of lifting the ribcage up off of the pelvis? Interlace your fingers, invert your palms, send your palms up towards the ceiling. And then imagine you could stretch the sides of your body longer while you draw the front of your body in. So you kind of soften those front ribs. And then can you soften your shoulders, but firm your triceps? And find a steady breath in all of that. So as you inhale, see if you can grow just a little bit longer. And as you exhale, you'll slowly start to twist towards the left. And as you inhale, imagine you could get a little bit taller, but make sure your expression and your shoulders stay soft. And as you exhale, you feel your right rib cage revolving towards your left rib cage. Take another round of breath to explore. Good, and then slowly inhale back to the center. Switch the cross of your fingers, so opposite thumb on top. Re-extend your arms, re-soften your shoulders. Feel your shoulder blades hugging the sides of your body. Take an inhale, grow even longer, even taller, growing out of the sides of your body, but softening the front of your body. And then as you exhale, slowly start to revolve towards the right. Take an inhale, see if you can grow from the ground up. And as you exhale, see if you can find a little more revolution, and that can be very subtle. Take one more round of breath. Good, and then slowly bring it back to the center. Get a little bit longer, scoop out the front of your body, feel your back ribs lifting up away from your kidneys. Hold on to that, release your fingertips, turn your palms to face one another. And then as you exhale, forward fold again, fingertips down, and slowly walk your hands forward. Allow your breath to lengthen out. Embrace the quality of softness in this stretch. but continue to explore the back of your body. Good, and then you slowly walk your hands back in, and you take it to hands and knees. So, tabletop position. Fingers spread out nice and wide, wrists directly underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. And just take a moment to move with your breath. So as you inhale, reach your chest forward through the gates of your arms. And as you exhale, round your back like a cat, curling your belly button in towards your spine. And so let's just go through several rounds of this. Close your eyes and see if your body has any messages for you, anything that it wants to alert you to before you get started into your practice. Is there anything going on? Are there any places where it's hard to feel your breath? Are there any places that feel dull, sticky, stagnant, stuck? Are there any places that feel particularly energized? As you move with your breath, do things shift and change? So let's just do 3 more here. And when you've completed your 3, make your way to a neutral spine. So you feel that the pubic bone is gently moving in towards the navel. The low spine is extended. Your sternum tries to reach towards the front of your yoga mat. And then you're going to take your right knee out towards the right, and you're just going to start to circle your thigh bone in your hip socket. So just making big circles around and around and around. Yeah. Good, and then circle the opposite direction as well, and just feel what it feels like to get a little bit of mobility in your hips first thing in the morning, maybe not so first thing in the morning. Good, and then from that energy, just kick that right leg straight back behind you and really energize your right leg. And then I want you to imagine you have superpowers and you're trying to shoot those superpowers down into the earth. So the more you shoot your superpowers down, the more you feel your core lifting up to support the back of your body. Get lighter on your left fingertips and then reach your left arm forward and get as long as you possibly can while you hug the front of your body towards the back of your body. Just feel that strength, that ability to elongate, that ability to feel our potential, our capacity. And like we all know, it's infinite, right? Every inhale, we can get a little tiny bit longer. And every exhale, we can find a little bit more stability, a little bit more sturdiness to how we hold this posture. So take 1 more round of breath. Slowly release everything back down. And then take your left knee out to the left and start to make those same circles around and around and around. Good, and then circle the opposite direction as well. And you start to feel that warmth in your hip, that warmth in your glute. Use that to send your leg straight back behind you so you have all of that strength in your left leg. And then start to shoot your superpowers down into the earth. Feel how your belly lifts up. And then stretch your right arm forward. And as you stretch your right arm forward, you feel that left inner thigh spiraling up towards the ceiling. You reach your palm forward as if you're reaching to shake someone's hand. And every inhale, you feel yourself getting a tiny bit longer. And every exhale, you find yourself getting just a little bit more sturdy. All of this while you maintain a calm expression on your face and in your breath. So take 1 more breath. And as you exhale, release it all the way down. Good. And then just drop your hips back into your heels for a moment for a child's pose. Rest your forehead down on your mat. And know that child's pose is always, always, always an option when we're really tuning in and when we're really listening to our bodies. Sometimes child's pose is exactly what we need. So please give yourself permission to return to this shape anytime you need to feel the ground underneath you, anytime you need to be supported. Good. And then start to energize your arms in this child's pose. So stretch out all of your fingers. Press down the fleshy area between your thumb and your first finger. Imagine that the underside of your forearms could lift up to support the bones of your forearms. And start to lift your triceps up as well, spinning your triceps down, imagining your biceps could spin up towards the ceiling. So these are the arms for downward facing dog. They're very active. Good. And then shift forward, tuck your toes under, and try to replicate those arms as you lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And so as you come into this downward facing dog, you're really pushing through the thumb and the first finger as if you could extend the front of your yoga mat towards the front of the room. And as you hug your triceps underneath, it's like you're trying to open two jars underneath your hands in opposite directions. Relax the space between your shoulders and your ears. Allow your gaze to look back between your feet. And then bend your right knee deeply, press your left heel down, and really stretch through the whole entire back of your left leg. And breathe, just breathe into it. Good, and then switch sides. Drop your right heel down, bend your left knee deeply. Keep trying to stretch out your yoga mat underneath you. Good. And then lift up high onto the balls of both feet. Stretch your sitting bones up as high as you can. It's infinite, so they can keep going up. Bend your knees, see if you can stretch them up a little bit more so you feel your tailbone lifting up towards the ceiling. And then slowly start to press the front of your thigh bones towards the back of your thigh bones, allowing your legs to straighten any amount while you maintain the shape in your lower back. And then just take a few rounds of breath here, connecting to your breath. Connecting to the alertness that you apply to this posture. Creating that quality of steadiness. Great. And then on your next inhale breath, shift forward to the top of a push-up. Stack your shoulders above your wrists. Feel as if you could elongate through the midline of your body, so all the way from the inseams of your ankles out through the crown of your head. So you feel the front of your body hugging in to support the back of your body. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, use your abdominals to lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. So flow between those two poses to the tempo of your own breath. Inhaling, shifting forward. And some of you guys can move in that super slow motion and really explore. What's going on? What messages does your body have? What have you been dealing with or not dealing with over the past week, few weeks, few days? Just use this opportunity for your own inner self-study. And the next time you come forward into a plank pose, hold your plank pose. Again, it's like you have those superpowers. You're trying to send them down into the earth. And you have an option to drop your knees down to the mat, always, in the plank pose. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to lower only halfway down. So you have a 90-degree bend in your elbows, pause, and then release your belly all the way down onto the mat. And flip your feet over, elongate through all 10 of your toes. Your hands are directly underneath your elbows. Pull your yoga mat backwards. Start to lengthen your chest forward, then lift up like you're a turtle coming out of the shell. And as you exhale, roll your spine back down. So see if you can really find that coiling action to your upper spine. Inhale, coil your upper spine forward and then up. Lengthen back through your toes. Exhale, release it back down. Do that 3 more times on your own. And if on the third one you'd like to lift up into upward facing dog, you'll press into your palms and lift everything up off of the mat except for your hands and the tops of your feet. You can always feel free to stay with Baby Cobra. There's a lot of strength that we can build here. So whichever one your final Baby Cobra or upward facing dog. If you're an upward facing dog, try to reach your chest forward through the gates of your arms. Good, and as you exhale, take your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Good, inhale your right leg up to the sky. Make a long line all the way back through your right heel. Hug your left hip in towards the midline. And then slowly shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest. Pause right there. As you inhale, shift back into a three-legged dog. Extend your legs straight back behind you. As you exhale, shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest, shoot your superpowers down into the earth. One more time, inhale, send your right leg straight back behind you. Good, and as you exhale, curl your knee in towards your chest. Step your foot between your hands. Keep your fingertips down on the floor. Try to hug that outer right hip in as you spin your left inner thigh up towards the sky. So it's like you're trying to scissor your legs towards one another. And you get a little bit lighter, so you're just resting on your middle finger as you pull your belly button away from your front thigh. And then you reach your arms straight back like wings. So you have one straight long line from your back leg all the way through to the top of your head. Good, send your arms straight out to the sides as if you could touch the sides of the room. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, lower your left hand down, spin your right arm up, coming into a twist. Feel free to drop the back knee down if it's getting a little crazy. Reach through your top arm. Imagine you can invite a beam of sunlight to shine down onto the left side of your chest. Beautiful. Take one more breath here. As you exhale, spiral that arm back down. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Drop to your knees if necessary. Otherwise, shift forward on your inhale. On your exhale, lower halfway down. As you inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. As you exhale, take your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And just spend a moment getting grounded here. Finding your breath. Finding that stability of the earth underneath you. Really using this opportunity to ground. And then inhale your left leg straight back behind you. Make that long line from your heel all the way through the sides of your body, all the way through your arms. Hug your right hip in towards the midline. Take one more inhale, and as you exhale, slowly shift forward. Curl your knee in towards your chest. Push the floor away. Dome shape your upper back. Inhale, send your leg up and back, three-legged dog. Exhale, find your own pathway. Move to the tempo of your breath. Shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest. Inhale, send your leg up and back. Good, and as you exhale, curl your knee in towards your chest. Pause and hover for just a beat, and then step your foot between your hands. Good. So you keep your fingertips down on the floor. You can always place blocks. Hug that outer left hip crease in, spin your right inner thigh up towards the ceiling, and imagine you could elongate from the inseam of your right leg, your back leg, all the way through the crown of your head. And then start to get a little lighter, so you just have your middle fingers down and you scoop your belly up away from your thigh. And then when you feel like your core is supporting you, send your arms straight back like wings. Really activate that back leg. Find your breath. Make sure you have a soft expression on your face. And then send your arms straight out to the sides as if you could touch the sides of the room. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lower your right hand down. Twist up towards your top arm. So your right lung is moving down towards the floor. Your left lung is reaching up towards the sky. You imagine you could get a wider wingspan from your top arm to your bottom arm. Take one more breath. Slowly revolve it back down. Step your left foot back to meet your right. Take it through a vinyasa from your knees or from your toes. You always get to choose, and you can always skip it as well. And as you return to downward facing dog, it's like you establish those roots through the palms of your hand. You feel how you can just keep growing out of those roots. The more your heels stretch down towards the floor, the more you feel your thigh bones pressing back. But everything is participating. Good. And then you can step, you can walk, you can jump to the top of your mat, however you want to get there. Find your way to the top of your mat. Set your feet up so that they're inner hip distance apart. So if you don't know what that is, make two fists and place them between the highest part of your arches. And then clasp your opposing elbows and just let your spine decompress here. See if you can move your awareness front through every vertebrae of your spine, and then if you want to sway your body a little bit from side to side. Nod your head yes or no, whatever's appealing. And then just see if holding onto your elbows, you can gently pull your elbows down towards the floor. Release the top of your skull down towards the floor. And then start to engage your quadriceps. Imagine you could lift your kneecaps up. And then place your hands on your shins or on the floor in front of you. And as you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Feel that length extend all the way through the sides of your waist. And as you exhale, fold back in. Do it a couple more times to see if you can find an organic motion here. Something that feels as if it's in harmony with the way you're breathing right now. Let's do one more. And then establishing those roots underneath the soles of your feet. Press down the four corners of your feet. Rise all the way up as you inhale. Circle your arms up above you. Good. And now you're going to make sure your tailbone stays nice and heavy. You're going to make sure that your pubic bone is lifting up towards your navel. Bend your elbows out towards the side. And then lift your chest up. So it's like your chest is going up and over. Good. And then inhale your arms back up to the top. Allow your palms to join. And as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. So Surya Namaskar A. It's our breath, it's our ritual, it's our movement. And the difference between a ritual and a routine is that a ritual involves mindfulness. So really allowing the breath to flow through our entire body as we practice. So as you inhale, circle your arms, get long through the sides of your body. As you exhale, hinge from your hips, long spine, fold forward. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. As you exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, step back to the top of a push-up, drop to your knees if you need to. As you exhale, lower halfway down, chaturanga. As you inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. And as you exhale, lengthen your hips up and back into downward facing dog and just observe the effects of how that first sun salutation feels. So we build a little heat. We find that alignment with our breath. We let the rhythm anchor us. At the end of your next breath, bend your knees, look forward. Step, walk, or jump to the top of your mat. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. As you exhale, fold back in. And as you inhale, circle your arms, reach all the way up. Feel the sides of your body lengthen, front ribs are soft. And as you exhale, bring your hands back together in front of your heart. Again, inhale, circle your arms as if you're gathering something that will bring you through this week. Exhale, hinge and fold forward, long spine. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. As you exhale, step back. Maybe you jump back into chaturanga. If you do so, land with your elbows bent so you have a shock absorber. You're not landing on straight arms. And as you exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. And just take a moment to really feel your roots and how you can extend and lift energy up out of those roots. Take a moment to feel your breath and maybe find a little bit of gratitude for this moment that you're on a yoga mat. Maybe feel some of the feelings that you haven't been allowing yourself to feel and give yourself the freedom to move through those feelings while you practice. So at the end of your next breath, bend your knees, look forward, step, walk, or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, root down, rise up, circle your arms, gather something that you need. And as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. And let's do one more round. Inhale, circle your arms, reach up to the sky. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale for length. Exhale back through your vinyasa. Remember, it's always appropriate to skip it if you need to take a child's pose at any given point in time. Really just here to continue the evolution of feeling without having expectations, without having demands, just learning to be responsive to what the moment is offering us. So at the end of your next breath, bend your knees, look forward, step, walk, or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. And as you exhale, fold back down. And then sit your butt backwards. Take your arms straight out in front of you. So we're approaching chair pose. And imagine you could send your sitting bones and your fingertips as far away from one another as possible. Scoop your low belly in. Good. And then without letting your front ribs flare, float your arms up. And then imagine that the shoulder blades could just gently lift the sternum from the inside out. Good. Take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, stand all the way up and bring your hands to join at the center of your heart. Good. So we're going to go into chair pose again. So bend your knees, circle your arms. Think about all of the actions that you already just did with scooping the belly and lifting the sternum. And then shift the weight into your right foot. Cross your left ankle over your knee. Just coming into a hip stretch here. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Find a steady gazing point. And maybe slowly descend and find your breath. So we're going to press into the right foot and we're going to stand back up, bringing the left knee in towards the chest. So it's just a transition. Yeah. Feel the sides of your body get longer. Make sure you're not flaring those front ribs. And then slowly release it down and come back into your chair pose. And then shift the weight onto your left foot and cross your right ankle over. And then as your arms are reaching, you feel you're not going to lose that space in your spine. You're going to keep it as you bring your hands together in front of your heart. And then you just find your sweet spot. If it's your sweet spot, you have a calm expression on your face. You have a steady breath. The voice of judgment is quieted down. Good, and then we're going to slowly start to press into the left foot. Bring your right knee up towards your chest. Take your arms to the sky. And really feel it rooting down through your left foot as your fingertips reach up. Your inner upper shoulders are soft. Your torso is being held by the container of your shoulder blades. Awesome. Slowly release it back down. And so you're at the top of your yoga mat. Bend your knees, circle your arms. Utkatasana, chair pose as you inhale. As you exhale, fold forward, then straighten the legs. As you inhale, lengthen your chest forward. And as you exhale, make your way back to downward facing dog however you'd like to. So you can take it through a vinyasa, or you can just step back into downward facing dog, whatever you need this morning. And then you're going to inhale your right leg straight back behind you. And as you exhale, you're going to shift forward, tap your right knee to your right tricep. So it's coming out to the side. Good. As you inhale, send your leg up and back behind you, squaring your hip off. As you exhale, bring your right knee across to tap your left tricep. Try to snuggle that knee up as high as you can towards your armpit. Good. Inhale, send that leg straight back behind you. And as you exhale, curl your knee in towards your chest. Step your foot between your hands. And this time, place a generous bend in your back knee. And take your arms up to a crescent pose with a very deep bend of your back knee. So with that back knee bent deeply, you can really feel the frontal, the pubic bone lifting up towards the navel. It's as if your two frontal hip points were wearing suspenders. So bend that back knee a little bit more and see if you can lift, feel that pelvic wheel revolve a little bit more. And then as you exhale, start to bend your elbows out towards the side. Lift your heart up and over. Make sure your front ribs are not flaring out. Good. On your next inhale breath, extend your arms up above you. Straighten your back leg any amount that you can maintain the alignment of your pelvis. Good, and then seal your back foot down on its edge. Line up heel to arch alignment. And coming into warrior two. So you look at your right knee, it's tracking right over the second and third toe. You press into the outer edge of your back foot and you firm your triceps so that your arms are supported. You're not tensing your shoulders. You're elongating the arms and letting the triceps support the bones. And then find your breath here. And find that ground beneath you. The more you ground down, the more you feel like you could lift up and lengthen your spine. Good. Take one more breath. And then straighten your front leg. Press into the mound of your right big toe. Allow your pelvis to tilt. And then start to lean forward, elongating the right side of your body as much as you can. Bring your hand down to the inside of your ankle or the outside of your ankle and revolve your left arm up towards the sky. So there's a lot of power in this pose. Imagine you could generate lift energy from the ground up through the soles of your feet, up the inseams of your legs. And then take your top arm and stretch it over your ear, elongating through the left side of the body. And if you want a little bit more, you can reach your right arm forward as well. Stay with your breath. What comes up for you when the pose gets a little uncomfortable? Good, and then find your way back into warrior two. And really embody what it is to be a warrior in this moment. To navigate all of the different feelings and fears we might be having. To surf those really big waves. Flip your right palm over as you inhale, reverse your warrior. And as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down and find your way back to downward facing dog, however you'd like to get there. Take a moment to root down. Really let this practice bring you back in touch with the earth. And then inhale your left leg straight back behind you. As you exhale, slowly shift forward. Bring your left knee to tap your left tricep. Squeeze it up there as high as you can. You feel that little bit of oblique work. Inhale, send your leg up and back, three-legged dog. As you exhale, cross your left knee over to tap your right tricep, but then see if you can let it ride the elevator up towards your armpit. Good. Inhale, send your leg straight back behind you. As you exhale, shift forward, curl your knee in towards your chest. Hover for a second. Step your foot between your hands. Good. And so you're scissoring your legs towards one another. Your left heel's trying to squeeze the yoga mat backwards. Your right toes are trying to squeeze the yoga mat forward. Put a generous bend in your back knee. Good. And then lift up into a crescent pose with that very deep bend in your back knee. And you can even bring your hands to your hips and make sure that those frontal hip points are lifting up. Look at your left knee, make sure it's tracking. You're hugging that outer left hip in. With that generous bend in your back knee, you start to bend your elbows out towards the side. And then lift your heart up and over. So you feel that the extension is from your upper spine, not your lower spine. Be aware that your front ribs are not flaring out. Good. And then inhale your arms back up. Straighten your back leg any amount that you can maintain the alignment, the shape of the bowl of your pelvis. And then allow your palms to touch. Good, and then seal the outer edge of your back foot down and open it up for warrior two. So establish your warrior. Make sure that your knee is tracking over your second and third toe, that your sitting bone is hugging underneath you, that your arms are not being held by tension in your neck or your shoulders, that your gaze and your breath can be steady. And it's like you're generating energy from the earth so that your spine can be more alert, can lift up more. And just observing what comes up. When we get still, what rises to the surface. So straighten into your front leg. Use your quadricep to really lift your kneecap up. And then tilt your pelvis so that your left hip crease deepens. Elongate through the left side of your body. And when you can't go any further, bring your fingertips to the inside or the outside or your shin. And revolve your spine up. So triangle pose. And think about the energy that you're lifting up through your legs. Take your top arm, stretch it over your ear. Really feel that length through the right side of the body. And if you want, extend your bottom arm as well, like you're holding a big beach ball. And keep trying to turn your left lung down, your right lung up towards the sky. Good. And then find your way back to Warrior Two. And take a moment here. Really be present. Really feel your breath. Good. And then flip your left palm over as you inhale, reverse your warrior. And as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down. And find your way back to downward facing dog, however you'd like to get there. So it's like every breath you take is a little journey into your own experience. And so through this lens of the breath, you really get to see a lot more than we ordinarily see as we're rushing through our day and following more the energy of our thought forms. Here we're following more the energy of our breath. Good. So inhale, your right leg straight back behind you. As you exhale, curl your knee in towards your chest. Step your foot between your hands. Place that generous bend in your back knee. Float your arms up again. Take an inhale. See if you can lift the four sides of your waist a little taller. And as you exhale, bend your elbows out towards the side and then lift your chest up and over. Inhale your arms back up to the sky. And as you exhale, seal the outer edge of your back foot down and open it up to Warrior Two again. Good, so in this Warrior Two, we're going to transition into side angle pose. So extend your right arm out in front of you. And either bring your forearm to your thigh or take your hand down to the inside or the outside of your leg. If it's on the inside, you're pressing your elbow and your knee in towards one another. Same thing if it's on the outside. And then take your top arm and stretch out over your ear. So you're really elongating through the left side of the body. Keep pressing your outer edge of your back foot down into the mat. Good. And then take your left hand to your left hip. Bring your right fingertips out in front of you. Shorten the distance a little bit. And then like you have a stirrup on your right foot, start to lift up, floating your left leg up into Ardha Chandrasana. So remember that really strong, stable back leg we had earlier in class. Really extend lots of energy through that back leg. Eventually taking your left hand up to the sky. And then you can play with variations here. If you'd like to take Chapasana, catch your ankle, or if you'd like to play with balance, extending your right arm forward, or if you'd just like to be there with your breath. So super slow motion. You're going to slowly find your way back to Warrior Two. Take a moment to get grounded in Warrior Two. And then flip your right palm over. Inhale, reverse that warrior. And as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down. Good, so you're coming into a twist here. Pivot to the ball of your back foot. Left hand presses down, right arm spins up to the sky. And you can stay in this twist, or if you'd like to take side plank, Vashisthasana, roll to the outer edge of your left foot and step your right foot on top. And any variations here, if you're taking this pose, are fine. Eventually, we all find our way back to downward facing dog. We take our own pathway to get there. It doesn't even matter what anyone else is doing because you probably can't see it anyway. So take a moment to really get grounded. Feel the ground underneath you. Good. Inhale your left leg straight back behind you. Slowly start to shift forward. Use your superpowers to push the floor away. Curl your knee in towards your chest. And then step your foot between your hands and place that generous bend in your back knee. And circle your arms up into this crescent shape. Good. Feel as if you could lift your ribcage up out of your pelvis as your legs stay super grounded by scissoring them towards one another. And then as you exhale, bend your elbows out to the side and then lift your chest up and over. Good. Inhale your arms back up to the sky. And as you exhale, seal the outer edge of your back foot down, coming into warrior two again. So you just check your alignment. It's like you have a conveyor belt going from the inseam across the front of your knee into the outseam of your left leg. So that energy is helping us to not allow our knee to collapse in. Extend your arms out. Start to elongate the left side of your body out over your left thigh and find your way into whatever variation of side angle poses working in your body today. Eventually you take that top arm, you stretch it over your ear, pinky side of your hand turned down. It's like you're scooping water, like your palm is facing the back. And you explore with your breath. You see what comes up for you. You see if you can find that infinity in how you continue to lengthen your body. Good, and then you circle your arm around. You place your right hand on your right hip. You walk your left fingertips forward. Maybe you grab a block. Hop your right foot in a little bit closer. And then press into the four corners of your feet and lift the energy up evenly through the inseam and the outseam of your left leg. Really strong, straight right back leg. And then extend your right arm up towards the ceiling. And this is where you get to decide. This is where you get to play. This is where you get to explore. What is this moment continuing to reveal to you? Good. And then super slow motion, start to bend your left knee, reach your right leg way back behind you. Land gracefully, rise back up into warrior two. And just establish yourself here. The strength, the resiliency, the ability to continually negotiate our changing reality. The ability to rebalance ourselves. So flip your left palm over as you inhale, reverse your warrior. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands down, pivot to the ball of your back foot. And we come into that twist again. So right arm down, left arm spins up to the sky. And maybe this is great. You can always drop the back knee down. You guys totally modify as you need to, or you can take it into Vashisthasana. You make that transition. You play. You spend as much time as feels appropriate. And eventually we all meet back in downward facing dog. And then just bend your knees and come down for a second. Drop your hips back into your heels, stretch your arms way out in front of you. Taking a little child's pose. Good, and then shift forward and place your forearms down on your mat. And then step your feet back behind you so you're in a forearm plank here. And so ideally your forearms are parallel to one another like railroad tracks, but if you have tighter shoulders, you can interlace your fingers. So just kind of find your sweet spot. And then start to walk your toes in towards your elbows, coming into dolphin pose. So you press your forearms down into the earth. You imagine that you could get taller through your shoulder blade area. Like you could lift that up. Release the top of your head down. And just taking a moment to have your heart over your head. Good, and then walk your feet back into forearm plank. Imagine you could squeeze your yoga mat backwards with your forearms, forward with your toes, so you really feel the front of your body light up. Just breathe with it. Try not to have any tension in your face. Try not to have a struggle in your mind. Everything eventually comes to an end, so slowly let your legs melt down, let your belly find the floor, and come into Sphinx pose. So your forearms are down. You're lifting your bottom ribs up away from the floor, and you're pressing your shoulder blades into the front of your body. Good, and then slowly release down. Make a little pillow for your forehead. Stack your right hand on top of your left hand. Glue your forehead down onto that pillow. And then lift your elbows, lift your forearms up off of the mat. Keep your forehead glued to your hand so that the back of your neck stays long. And then elongate your toes back behind you and imagine that your pinky toes are revolving down towards the floor as you float your legs up. It's like you have one leg, a mermaid tail. And then imagine you could elongate your elbows forward a little bit more, and with that you could coil that upper spine upwards just a tiny bit more. Take one more breath and slowly release it down. And just allow your belly to breathe against the earth for a few rounds of breath. The back bends can be pretty stimulating. So just feel where your breath intersects with the earth. And then let's do it one more time. Stack your left hand on top of your right hand. Glue your forehead down. Elongate out through your toes. Think of the inseams of your legs getting longer, and then start to lift your forearms and your elbows up. Keep your forehead glued. Stretch the elbows forward, stretch the toes backwards so much that eventually they float up off of the floor. Yeah, and we just get really long. We also feel the front of the body supporting, so we're not flaring our front ribs into the floor. Take one more breath, get a little longer, get a little bit more coiling to your upper spine. Good, and as you exhale, release it down. And again, just make that breath connection. Your belly and the earth. And then as you're ready, just roll over onto your back. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Hug your left knee into your chest. You can reach through that little space and grab the back of your left thigh. It's an easy thread the needle stretch. You could take a different hip stretch if you need something a little bit more less passive, let's say. Good. And then drop the sole of your left foot down to the mat. Cross your right thigh bone over your left thigh bone. Extend your arms out to the sides. Shimmy your hips a little towards the right side of your mat and let your knees descend towards the left. You can gaze over your right shoulder. You can imagine your fingertips growing further apart from one another. And then slowly bring it back to the center and switch the cross of your ankle. So your left ankle crosses over the top of your right knee. Hug your right knee in. And stay present here. Your body is still communicating. And this time on the mat is really our time where we give it its proper audience. And it's not just the physical body, it's our mental body, it's our energetic body, it's our psychological body. Great, So drop your sole of your right foot down, cross your left thigh bone over your right thigh bone. Shimmy your hips a little towards the left and let your knees descend. Maybe you can gaze over your right arm. Imagine getting longer, wider across your chest. Just allow yourself to breathe into this shape. Allow yourself to not be in any sort of a rush or hurry. Allow every breath to be an evolution of your experience of being in this stretch. Good, and then slowly bring it back to the center. Hug your knees in towards your chest. And just use this moment to really share some self-love, self-care, self-nurturing with yourself. So if you want to rock yourself a little bit from side to side, eventually you decide where you're going to land, your final resting pose. So it can be Shavasana, or if you want something a little bit more active, you can take a seated meditation. But whichever variation you're taking, the goal here is to allow ourselves the opportunity to rest and to digest. And when we digest, we're not just digesting our food or digesting our yoga practice, we're digesting everything that our five senses have taken in. And some of it we've processed, and some of it we've half processed, and some of it we haven't processed. And it's not anything you have to think about here. It's really just a process of allowing. So as you withdraw your five senses, give your senses an opportunity to rest. Give yourself an opportunity to melt into the silence and the stillness. And the trust that in this silence and this stillness, things are happening, things are changing, things are transforming as they need to. So take these last few moments in whatever final resting posture you're in, whether you're in a seated meditation or whether you're in Shavasana, and just give yourself whatever it is that you need. Give yourself the quality of breath. Give yourself the quality of surrender. Give yourself that access point to the reservoir deep within you that sources whatever it is that you need. And then on your next inhale breath, stretch your arms way back behind you. Stretch your legs way out in front of you. Take a nice long stretch. Imagine you could energize, invigorate, enliven every cell, every molecule. And then when everything is buzzing and alive and awake, hug your knees into your chest and contain that. Contain that within yourself. Let it be a loving gesture. Let it be an embrace. And then slowly roll over onto your side and press yourself up to a seated position. And bring your hands together in front of your heart. And imagine that that space at the front of your heart was opening up like there was a bright ray of sunshine that was coming out, but it wasn't just coming out the front, it was coming out the sides and the back. It was emanating in all directions. And then we'll close this practice with a chant of Om. So take a deep breath in. Om. Take a moment to feel some gratitude. Let your heart be full. And when you're ready, open your eyes.